In Victoria, gold is predominantly found in quartz veins that have shot their way up through the fragmented sedimentary bedrock and deposited themselves in the many fractures and faults that were created by immense tectonic events, namely from subduction events. The second place gold can sometimes be found is in areas that are volcanic, such as the Staveley volcanic arc, the Mafeking area of the Grampians, or the volcanism found in a Buchan Rift. But in today's video, we're going to look at a geological oddity, that being gold found inside of recently released volcanic rocks like basalt and scoria. One of the most common things that you'll see if you journey to Victoria is basalt and scoria. This erupted material is a recent phenomenon, with it being released within the past 7 million years. Prior to this, there were some other eruptions that date back to around 30 million years ago, which occurred predominantly in the Melbourne zone due to the rifting event that formed the Port Phillip Sunklands. But in general, Victoria has remained relatively geologically stable for around 360 million years. So how on earth did 400 million year old gold find its way into 7 million year old scoria? To say this is strange would be an understatement, but if we look at the records from the 1800s, we come across this article, Gold Found in Basalt. This was a stunning revelation, and in all honesty, it shouldn't exist, yet it does. But why? If we look at this article, we see the word scoria being mentioned, and this is our first clue. Scoria and basalt are both mafic rocks, meaning they're both high in magnesium and iron. But the key difference is scoria is formed from explosive eruptions, whereas basalt is formed from effusive eruptions with very little to no explosivity. The defining characteristic of scoria is its vesicular nature. This just means that it contains many holes where gases rapidly escaped from the lava when it was explosively erupted onto the surface. The area where gold was found in scoria and basalt is known as Camperdown, namely around Mount Lura. I hope I'm saying that right. Mount Lura is a scoria cone, and it blasted out explosive lava in the past 7 million years. The volcanic eruptions that occurred in this area were heavy and numerous, with thousands of vents extending across the region. These volcanic eruptions created many volcanic lakes, both due to explosive eruptions and because old rivers and pathways that water would flow through were covered up, leading to a highly dammed landscape. These volcanic eruptions covered the ancient gold-laden landscape that existed here for hundreds of millions of years, obscuring the gold-rich quartz reefs and ancient rivers that flowed through this land, creating an entirely new landscape in the process. Gold was sampled in crushed scoria, and a bunch of it was sent to a pyrite works in Ballarat to be crushed and tested for gold. It yielded 15 grains to the ton. This doesn't seem like much, but when you consider how abundant scoria and basalt is, one could easily make that payable, even back in the early 1900s. But how did the gold find its way into the basalt and scoria? Well, the most likely reason gold was found was due to explosive eruptions. Beneath Camperdown, these volcanic eruptions most likely brought up gold as the ancient bedrock got blasted out along with the magma during eruptions. But another way this could happen is through remelt. Mafic lava exists at a temperature between 1000 to 1200 degrees Celsius, and gold melts at 1064 degrees. But it's far more likely that gold was blasted out along with the scoria as the lava cooled. When this revelation became known, multiple claims were taken out to test the basalt. But we never heard of anything else, and the land's potential for gold more or less became forgotten. I suspect this is because the gold was patchy, with it occurring in some areas and being devoid in others. But with that being said, the article did point out that multiple samples were taken from miles apart and they all contained gold. It's very lucky that by chance this miner managed to crush a bunch of scoria that contained gold, but ultimately that luck ran out as nothing more ever came of it. This somewhat confirms the suspicion I had regarding this area of Victoria, which is highly volcanic. The deep lead lines, that being the ancient gold-laden rivers that were covered by the basalt, end where the basalt begins. But beneath the basalt is a land filled with golden rivers and ancient gold-bearing quartz veins that were never found and exploited. The basaltic eruptions here were simply too numerous, and the shallow groundwater was a major obstacle to exploration in these parts. Thus, there exists goldfields as abundant as Ballarat, just lying in wait to be found and exploited. But it's unlikely this will ever happen unless we as a country become truly desperate for gold. It's definitely there though. So this is how ancient gold deposits found their way into young volcanic material. Thanks for watching.